2023.
We did have three announcements that were made by Madam Speaker, and indeed not forgetting four rulings, Matimba.
After that, we also had two ministerial statements. The House also considered four bills that came at different stages. The House considered the ECZ bill, the Examination Council of Zambia bill.
Yes, Matimbanja, this is the National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2023, which was read the third time. And the other bill was the Anti-Terrorism and Non-Proliferation Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 32 of 2021, and it was it passed the third reading stage as well.
The House also considered the Controlled Substances Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2023, which was read the third time and also passed. And so there being no further debate, the House accordingly adjourned sine die at 18, I beg your pardon, at 13:08 hours. And so that is basically business that was considered on the floor of the House on 31st March 2023. In a short while, we'll be looking at today's order paper. Good afternoon.
With us on your favorite channel, talking about the Parliament television, the station that is bringing Parliament closer to you. Let's quickly look at business that is expected to be considered on the floor of the House today, the 6th June 2023. Just up and trust you're keeping warm. And as you can see in the chamber, members of Parliament are back from recess, and most of them were engaged in various activities where they were touring different projects across the country and beyond. We do have a total number of questions, 14 questions for oral answer, and standing order 74. Let's quickly look at some of the questions, Matimba.
One of the questions will come from Lunte Member of Parliament, Mr. Kapoya, and he's directing his question to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. He wants to find out in A what the contract sum of the construction of the Lusakandola Dewage Carriageway was cancelled, and in B how much of the contract sum was paid before the cancellation, and in C whether a new contractor of the project has been signed, and in D if so when the contract sum is.
I'm sure you'll be able to see the Honourable Speaker's procession making way to the chamber, and that's the time we'll cross over to the floor of the House for the commencement of today's business. Question 262 will come from Mungu Central Member of Parliament, and this is Ms. Oliver Mutike, and this question is directed to the Minister of Mines and Mineral Development. We'd like to find out whether the government has issued any exploration licenses for oil and gas in the plains of Western Province. If so, what the names of the license holders are. And the last of the part of the question, the member would like to find out when the exploration exercise will commence.
Question number 263 will come from Katombola Member of Parliament, and he's directing his question to the Minister of Health. And so just now we take you to the chamber for the live proceedings. Keep watching Parliament Television. Good afternoon.
Honorable Members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Tendency of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for the right. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland.
yet God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Order, honorable members, can we settle down? It's nice to see you all in high spirits. I'm sure you had a good rest and did well with your CDF project. Honorable members, I have one announcement to make and one ruling. The announcement is to the effect that I have received communication to the effect that in the absence of our honor, the Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning, Honorable Stumbeko Msokotwani, MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House. Order, order. Because there was so much noise, I'll repeat. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning, Honorable Sitombeko Msokotwani, MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House until further notice. I thank you. Now let's go to the ruling. The ruling is based on a point of order raised on Thursday, 16th March 2023, by Mr. R.K. Chitotela, Member of Parliament for Pambashe constituency, against Honorable R.M. Piri, Minister of Agriculture, for contravening Standing Order 165 by stating that the government would implement the FISIP program in the 2023-24 farming season, contrary to the position given by the Minister of Finance and National Planning in the 2023 budget address, that the government would move from FISIP to CASP. Honorable members will recall that on Thursday, 16th March 2023, when the House was considering the ministerial statement on the distribution of farming inputs for the 2023-2024 farming season, and Mr. M. Simushi, Member of Parliament for Sikongo, was debating, Mr. R.K. Chitotela, Member of Parliament for Pambashe constituency, raised a point of order. The point of order was against Honorable R.M. Piri, Minister of Agriculture. In his point of order, Mr. R.K. Chitotela, MP, cited Standing Order 65, which requires members to ensure that the information they provide to the House is factual and verifiable. In his point of order, Mr. R.K. Chitotela, MP, alleged that there was inconsistency in policy pronouncements by the government regarding the farming inputs program. He explained that on the one hand, the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning had, in his 2023 budget address, stated that the government was shifting from the Farmers Input Support Program, FISIP, to the Comprehensive Agriculture Support Program, CASIP. He further stated that, on the other hand, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, in his ministerial statement, had said that the government would continue with the FISIP program. In that regard, he asked for clarity on which of the two programs the government would implement. Honorable members, in response to the point of order, the Honorable Madam First Deputy Speaker reserved her ruling in order to start the matter and adequately compare the 2023 budget address to the Minister of Agriculture's ministerial statement. Honorable members, in studying the matter, I had recourse to the verbatim record of the proceedings of Thursday, 16th March 2023, and the ministerial statement rendered by the Honorable R.M. Piri, MP, on that day. I also had recourse to the 2023 budget address delivered to the House by the Honorable Dr. Esim Sokotwani, Minister of Finance and National Planning. Honorable members, in presenting the budget address, Honorable Dr. Esim Sokotwani, MP, stated among others as follows, and I quote, "I'm duty-bound to provide clarity on a false matter that was at one point circulating in some social media that Farmer Input Support Program, FISIP, will no longer be available because of the IM support program. To the contrary, FISIP continues in the 2022-2023 farming season with the same strength as before. However, Madam Speaker, in addition to providing input support, FISIP will be reformed to include extension safe support, irrigation development, access to finance, support to value addition, and storage logistics. The new expanded program will be called Comprehensive Agriculture Support Program." End of quote. From the foregoing excerpt, it is clear that in the budget address, the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning categorically stated that FISIP would continue. It is also clear that he further said that the program would be expanded to include the other services, hence the change in its name to CASIP. From the verbatim record, it is also evident that in answering the follow-up question asked by Mr. Emu Simushi, MP, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture explained that FISIP was part of CASIP because CASIP had several variables, one of them being FISIP. This statement is consistent with the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning's statement in his budget address. From the foregoing, it is evident that Honorable R.M. Piri, MP's statement was consistent with the government's position as contained in the 2023 budget address, and therefore factual and verifiable. In that regard, the Honorable Minister was not out of order. I thank you. We can move to the next item. Business statement, the acting leader of government business.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the House Business Committee met on Friday, 2nd June 2023, to determine and schedule business of the House for the period 6th to 16th June 2023. In this regard, the committee resolved to lay before the House the following business for consideration. A, announcements. The Honorable Speaker may make an announcement to the House on any day when it is necessary to do so. B. Rulings. The Honorable Speaker may render rulings if there will be any. C. Ministerial statements. The ministerial statements will be rendered if there will be any. D. Private members' motion. The following honorable members will present to the private members' motion. The following honorable members will present the private members' motion during the period. Name of honorable member, Mr. C. Kangombe. Subject matter, actualize provision of health services to the poor and vulnerable. Date of presentation, 14th June 2023. E. Bills. The bills listed hereunder will be considered. Name of a bill: the Environmental Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2023. Stage, second reading. Date of consideration yet to be determined. Name of bill: the National Prosecution Authority Amendment Bill, NA Bill 7 of 2023. Stage, second reading. Date of consideration yet to be determined. Name of bill: the Human Rights Commission Bill, National Assembly Bill number 8 of 2023. Stage, second reading. Date of consideration yet to be determined. Name of bill: the Zambia Institute of Valuation Surveyors Bill, National Assembly Bill number 9 of 2023. Stage of the bill, second reading. Date of consideration yet to be determined. F. Reports on international conferences. The reports on international conferences will be rendered if there will be any. G. Parliamentary committee reports. The following committee reports will be considered during the period. Name of committee: Government Assurances. Subject matter: Outstanding and New Government Assurances. Date of consideration: 8th June 2023. Name of committee: Planning and Budgeting. Subject matter: the effects of illicit financial flows on the budget and its sustainability. Date of consideration: 8th of June 2023. Name of committee: Delegated Legislation. Subject matter: Statutory Instruments. Date of consideration: 9th June 2023. Name of committee: Youth, Sport and Child Matters. Subject matter: the plight of circumstantial children in Zambia. Date of consideration: 9th June 2023. Name of committee: Media, Information and Communication Technologies. Subject matter: the role of ZICTA in the fight against cybercrime. Date of consideration: 13th June 2023. Name of committee: Agriculture, Lands and Natural Resources. Subject matter: effectiveness of the Department of Veterinary Services in combating livestock diseases in Zambia. Date of consideration: 13th June 2023. Name of committee: National Security and Foreign Affairs. Subject matter: review of the administration and operations of the Zambia Police Service. Date of consideration: 14th June 2023. And finally, name of committee, national economy, trade and labor matters, subject matter, public procurement in Zambia, date of consideration, 14th June 2023. H, questions. The honorable ministers will respond to 85 questions for oral answer as set out hereunder during the same period. The details of the questions are contained in the notices of questions circulated to all honorable members and other stakeholders. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the House Business Committee, and in accordance with the Standing Order 1895 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2021, I have the pleasure to present the business for the next 2 weeks to this August House. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. We can go to the next item, matters of urgent public importance. But before we go to the matters of urgent public importance, I see that there's a request for a point of order being requested by the Honorable Member for Pambashe. Okay, must have been pressing a wrong button. So let's go to the matters of urgent public importance. I've seen that there are several, about 11 or 12. So what we'll do is we'll deal with each one as it is raised so that we don't miss out on anything. We'll start with the one raised which the Honorable Member for Pambashe wants to raise. Honorable Member for Pambashe.
I thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm raising the matter on the Minister for Energy. I thank you.
What is the matter of urgent public importance, Honorable Member? You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are grateful that during the break you assign us to go and learn best practice in Tanzania. On or around 15th May, we woke up in that country to a very rude shock and very embarrassing situation where the security of this nation was compromised. The pipe that transports the finished product from Dar es Salaam to Ndola called Tazama punctured, and the nation of Zambia, Madam Speaker, lost in excess of 1 million liters of diesel. As though that was not enough, no statement has been issued to the people of Zambia for the loss and the danger on the security to the nation that it took a councillor in that foreign land, Madam Speaker, to raise an alarm and report. Then it dawned on all of us, members of parliament who were in Tanzania, how the powerless we are, that such kind of a damage can happen to a strategic national asset without being detected by the systems in Zambia. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the concern that we have, and I have, on behalf of the people of Pambashe and the people of Zambia, and more so those that traveled with us in Tanzania, and what will happen if that puncture or damage had occurred in between the Mchinga escapement, where there are no people that lives there. And the Zambian system, we are unable to detect such kind of damage to the strategic reserve. And the Minister of Energy, Madam Speaker, has quite researched in this House, and even before the sitting of Parliament, as you may be aware, this happened around the 15th May. He has never issued a statement to the nation to avert the fear of what would happen if the puncture and the rupture had happened in between the Mchinga escapement, where there are no people living there. I seek your serious guidance on this national important and the matter of security to the strategic reserve to the people of Zambia. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, as we raise matters of urgent, let's raise the matters so that we can save on time. As regards the matter that the Honorable Member for Pambashe has raised, I recall that the Honorable Minister of Energy did issue a press release to that effect, and even stated the quantities of oil or fuel that was lost. Maybe because the Honorable Member of Pambashe was in Tanzania, he was not aware of what was happening here. But I can assure you, Honorable Member, the statement was issued. I read it myself. But if you have any further questions, there's nothing wrong in you following it up with the Honorable Minister of Energy. So we can proceed to the next one. The Honorable Member from Mpika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to raise this matter of urgent public importance pursuant to Standing Order number 134, sorry.
We can proceed, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in Mpika and part of Shwangandu, gold has been discovered. It was discovered in late February. And since then, there has been an influx of people to that site for a gold rush. In thousands they are. Madam Speaker, government most recently deployed a team of experts from Cadastre to go and pick the coordinates. And in so doing, their Royal Highnesses, the chiefs, have stated that they want to be involved in who should be licensed for artisanal mining, because they are the people that live with the residents in Mpika. Madam Speaker, in the process, on the other hand, we saw the DC also stating otherwise. And as things stand right now, Madam Speaker, there is high level of foreigners. Criminality has also gone up. Sanitation has also become a matter of concern. And also, we have people that are taking advantage. On the other hand, just 2 weeks ago, there was a report that a high-profile person routed gold to an amount of 10 kg. In the process, Madam Speaker, our people do not even know what they are supposed to do. They are being told to form cooperatives without being told who to submit those cooperatives to for the processing of licenses. Yet those that are politically connected like me, they are already being licensed.
Honorable members, guided, please do not debate your matter of urgent public importance. Just raise it, and you'll be guided accordingly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, those are our consent. The chiefs have asked that they be given the right to identify who should be licensed for artisanal mining. And also the issue of sanitation and security, because we have foreigners with guns there. They are actually robbing people of their gold and the likes. Madam Speaker, I therefore direct this matter of urgent public importance to the leader of government business in the House. I seek your serious guidance, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Mpika. It's good to hear that gold has been discovered in Mpika and Shwangandu. It ensures that our economy is going to flourish. But as regards this matter being raised as a matter of urgent public importance, it does not meet the criteria upon which a matter of urgent public importance can be raised. The Honorable Member can find other means of bringing this issue to the government, and then the government can issue or give a clarification on what the position is. So, Honorable Member, you can put in a question to the Honorable Minister of Mines. They will be able to answer that question at the appropriate time. Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lumezi.
Thank you, very kind Madam Speaker, and permit me to say it's nice to see you back in the House. We missed you during the recess. Madam Speaker, I raise on a matter of public emergency importance, Standing Orders 134. Madam Speaker, in the year 2021, on the floor of the House, I spoke like a Jewish prophet. Madam Speaker, I raise this matter directed at the leader of government business. Yesterday, the country woke up to a rude shock that 65 million kwacha that the Anti-Corruption Commission had forfeited from one Faith Musonda had gone missing. Madam Speaker, this nation owes the people of Lumezi an apology. Madam Speaker, a detailed report shows that the misappropriation of funds of the Director General, where they even went to buy a cell phone and worthy 41,000 kwacha and another one worthy 28,000 kwacha. A person that is ratified by this very House, Madam Speaker, an institution that is supposed to provide enough measures to deter corruption fight, when this House, Madam Speaker, cannot even provide a cell phone for you. Madam Speaker, this
Please do not include me in the debate. Proceed, but get to the point quickly, Honorable Member for Lumezi.
Madam Speaker, when I spoke in 2021, I was interjected as to the reasons why I couldn't support the budget allocation to the Anti-Corruption Commission. I hope we would have learned something, that we should be allowed to express ourselves freely until we deliver a valid point. Madam Speaker, this is a matter that the country would want to be addressed with a sense of urgency. There is no way they declare assets that are not validated, and in one hand, we allow them to fight corruption. Consistently, I've said the corrupt cannot fight corruption, Madam Speaker. And it is a matter of public emergency importance that the leader of government business addresses the concerns raised by the people. I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lumezi, for raising that matter. I know this matter has been doing the rounds, started with the newspaper. I recall that from yesterday on, there were various statements that were rendered by both the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Education explaining how this money was used. But however, if Honorable Member for Lumezi is not satisfied with those statements, which have already been made, they were only made yesterday, I suggest maybe the Honorable Member puts in a question directed to the Minister to come and answer at a later stage. But in terms of requesting the Honorable Minister to come and deliver a statement, he has already delivered a statement. Actually, both of them have delivered statements. And this was only yesterday. So again, we cannot, I cannot ask the Honorable Ministers to deliver a statement on the same matter. So if the Honorable Member is not satisfied, I'm repeating myself, if the Honorable Member is not satisfied with that statement, we can put in a question. Or you can even move a motion of an adjournment on Wednesday. That matter can be debated. So this is not closed. There are so many other doors that are open which can be availed to the honorable members. The Honorable Member for Lundazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving a chance to the people of Lundazi to raise a matter of urgent public importance. It is directed to the Minister of, since infrastructure is not in the House, it can go to the leader of business in the House.
You may proceed, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the bridge connecting Chasefu and Lundazi at Tigone has actually literally broken down. Trucks are failing to pass at Tigone right now, and 2 months ago, we lost 2 children at that same point. Madam Speaker, we are seeking a quick intervention by DMMU because our people are nearly cut off between Lundazi and Chasefu. I need your serious intervention. I submit.
Thank you very much. I think this matter was raised last time that 2 children were lost in the process and the bridge had broken down. Maybe to give the benefit to the Honorable Member for Lundazi, the Honorable Leader of Government Business in the House, being in the Vice President, being in charge of the disaster management, can come to the House and render a statement on this matter. We can do it on Thursday this week, so that the Vice President, being leader of government business, will render a statement on that issue on Thursday this week. We go to the next one. Honorable Member for Petauke.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Petauke to raise the matter of urgent public importance.
Order, Honorable Member. Yes, you raised the matter of urgent public importance, but please don't shout in the mic. Just speak softly, we can hear you. Otherwise, we are damaging our eardrums. You may proceed. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. Madam Speaker, the matter under 134 is directed to the Minister of Agriculture.
Proceed. I said proceed, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Minister of Agriculture this year, between January and March, the minister came to this house and informed the nation through this house that this year is going to buy only 3 crops, which is rice, soybeans, and maize on this house. On the question from Chasefu or from Chama, where the Chama were asking about cotton, and then the minister said that he's not going to buy cotton because cotton, you leave it.
Order, Honorable Member for Petauke Central. There is a point of order being raised. Honorable Member for Matero, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 65. Madam Speaker, when you issue a guidance, we are all obliged to follow your guidance. You guided that the Honorable Member should tone down. Is in order, Madam Speaker, to keep his notch very high, even after you have guided, Madam Speaker. I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Order. Although the standing order that has been cited is not correct, but Honorable Member for Petauke, please, as the Honorable Member for Matero has observed, you don't have to shout. That's why there is a mic. We can hear you loud and clear. Please do not shout in the microphone. You are damaging our eardrums. Please proceed, but please do not shout.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. But the Member of Parliament for Matero, you know how Judas Iscariot are. So we understand.
Order, order. Honorable Member for Petauke. Order, order. I know that there is an outcry that people should be allowed to ask all sorts of questions. Now, I don't know how to categorize your question. But please, can we be serious? Can you ask your question and do not attack another member for having raised a point of order? Proceed.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, the Minister informed this House to say the government of the New Dawn, they are not going to buy cotton under that question from Chama, but instead they are going to buy this year, this season, 2022-2023 farming season. After the harvest, they are going to buy rice, soybeans, and maize. But when I was in Ghana, Madam Speaker, I woke up to the rood of shock. Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, to that shock, Madam Speaker, the root shock, Madam Speaker, the minister only announced 2 crops, that the government is going to buy only 2 crops, which is maize and rice. Contrary to what he informed this House, is the minister in order to mislead the nation and to lie to the nation on behalf of the government that they are going to buy soybeans instead, because right now, my people in the constituents, Petauke, Central, constituents, Madam Speaker, and Eastern at large, Southern, Namwara, Mchinga, Isoka, Western, Mitete, Katunda, everywhere, country at large, everyone, Madam Speaker, they are dying of rood of shock. Because the farmers, they budgeted to say they are going to buy.
Order, order. Honorable Member, I think we have taken note of your matter of urgent public importance. Can you wind up?
In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the people, when they were planting soybeans, they had it in mind that government is going to buy, and then they acquired loan. Right now, 4 people are admitted in my constituency because of BP. It's not coming down, and I'm scared to lose them, Madam Speaker. And not only in Petauke, in Namwala Southern Province, Dutumwezi in Northern Province. In fact, even the sister, they related to the
honorable member, order, honorable member for Petauke.
In conclusion,
order. I had advised, honorable member, that please do not debate your matter of urgent public importance. We started business at 14:30. Now it's 15:09. We've already lost 30 minutes. When we come to other substantive matters, honorable members will need a lot of time to debate. So please do not eat in the debating time. Raise your matters quickly and urgently as you put them that they are urgent matters. Can you wind up?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, is the minister, my elder brother, in order to sit quietly whilst our people in Eastern Province and the Zambia at large, they are about to die because of how they are going to pay back, because
government is the only entity which can give benchmark to the prices in the private sector, Madam Speaker. I seek your indulgence and your guidance, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Petauke. As you rightly pointed out, that issue of buying maize, not buying soybeans was stated by the Honorable Minister of Agriculture about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. And from that time on, the Honorable Member for Petauke should have put in a question, because we were admitting questions which are for oral answer. So, Honorable Member for Petauke, the matter that you have raised is important, I agree with you, but it does not qualify to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. Please put in a question. If you had put in a question this time, it would have been on the list, waiting to be answered by the Honorable Minister. So the door is not closed. Put in a question. The Minister will be able to address that issue. We make progress. Honorable Member for Chairman North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to raise a matter of urgent public importance directed to the Minister of Agriculture. I think it's similar with from Petauke Central.
Honorable Member, if it's similar to the one by the Honorable Member for Petauke Central, I've already made a ruling. You or the Honorable Member for Petauke can put in a question. The Honorable Minister will be available to answer it. We make progress. The Honorable Member for Chiluvi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to raise the matter of public importance in pursuant to Article Standing Order number 34, read together with 135. Which borders on the functionality of the executive. Madam Speaker, the Constitution in Article 91 states that the President is the head of state and government and Commander-in-Chief. The Constitution further states in Clause 2 that executive authority of the state vests in the President and subject to this Constitution shall be exercised directly by the President or through public officers or the other persons appointed by the President. The Constitution further states in Article 92 that the President in E will appoint persons as required by the Constitution or any other law to be appointed by the President. Madam Speaker, the people of Chiluvi are alarmed that when it comes to execution of executive powers, as I have read, I know that there are a lot of articles, but in the interest of time, I will not quote them. Entails that the President also appoints ministers among the members of Parliament. And if that is not available, the President has been given the space for nominating 8 members of Parliament as nominated members of Parliament. And as my memory serves me, the members of Parliament that are nominated are all here, I think, in this House, and executing duties as members of Parliament. Given that, Madam Speaker, we have seen that some party functionaries of the UPND have usurped powers of certain ministries. We know that there would have been a rumor for change in certain portfolios, in certain ministries, possibly maybe pointing to ministries like local government and the like. But it does not give anyone excitement to start acting in a position that is not yet vacant. As far as we are concerned, Madam Speaker, no one has lifted the Bible or the Quran in here to take the position of a nominated member of Parliament. I want to find out if you were to follow Article 147 to 152 of the Constitution, of which we are talking about devolved functions of government. And those devolved functions of government are supposed to be assisted by a local government minister who is also in charge of rural development. What would have been the case is we have to find out that out of that,
Honorable Member for Chiluvi, please get to the point. What's the
I am
matter?
getting there, Madam Speaker. I'm getting there. One of the things that come out of that arrangement is the CDF, which is the Constitution Development Fund, the Constituency Development Fund. I know that you are bothered with small things, so I'll continue as no not disturbed. And when the Constituency Development Fund, and Mark, I said articles 147 to 152, that's where the Constituency Development Fund falls. I want to learn from the acting leader of government what one emender, the SG of UPND, was doing, especially in Muchinga province, when it's in public domain. Yes. What one emender was doing when you sacked the roles of the local government minister and started inciting members of the public against elected members of parliament. Madam Speaker, I seek your guidance.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Chilovi. I think the best way to deal with that matter is to put in a question, because it does not it does not qualify to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. There is a criteria under Standing Order 135, which specifically states how a matter can qualify to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. You can put in a question, Honorable Member, then the Minister will be able, or the leader of government business in the House will be able to clear that position. And also the person that has been mentioned is not in the House, so we cannot debate him. Can we make progress? The Honorable Member for Chiengi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And on behalf of the people of Chiengi, would like to say...
Can we have some order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise on a matter of urgent public importance, pursuant to Standing Order 134.
Proceed, Honorable Member. That's where we are now. We are on matters of urgent public importance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
So maybe for guidance, there's no need to repeat, because we know you are raising it under at Standing Order 134.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the guidance. Madam Speaker, the President announced that with the increase of CDF, the government would like to reach out to many people, like in rural areas, to, by them forming cooperatives, which was a very good move, pronouncement, and it was well received by the people of Chiengi, and I believe in many rural constituencies. Madam Speaker, we have a challenge. Our people have little, I would say, little education, who cannot even go online to register, because what is there now, people want to access CDF, but they have to form cooperatives. Now they have to register online. I'm directing this point of order, Madam Speaker, on the leader of our business, government business in the House. People cannot access what they're supposed to access because of the procedures of registering with cooperative societies. So I would like to find out how this government is going to help the people of Chiengi. We have forms, and they've been told they cannot use forms. They need to go online. And internet is a challenge in areas like Cheng, and I believe in Nalolo and everywhere to register online. And also the officers who are supposed to assist, we do not have the capacity, we only have one person. I would like, Madam Speaker, I seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker, regarding this, because the people of Cheng need to access CDF through cooperatives. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Chiengi, I think maybe put in a question. Put in a question to the leader of government business in the House to be able to answer that question, because again, it does not qualify to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. Honorable members, there is a criteria that has to be met for a matter to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. So it's not all issues. They might be important, they might be urgent, but to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance, the criteria has to be met. We go to the next honorable member for Chama South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my matter goes to our Minister for Tourism. Madam.
The honorable members, let's allow the honorable member for Chama South to raise his. But I'm wondering, why are you? I thought you were always on the front bench. What happened? May I know from the leader of the opposition what has happened to Honorable Mungandu? Okay. Apparently, it's in-house arrangement. Honorable member for Chairman North, South, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's unfortunate that they are saying I'm a renegade, a soldier, a rebel. I remain a honorable member for Chama South. I know, Honorable Minister, Madam Speaker, I'm engaging him, but the people of Chama South, particularly Mapamba, have requested me to put it on record. It's not enough assuring them that you are aware of this problem. Madam Speaker, in Mapamba area, people now are fearing to sleep in their homes because of elephants. We had a very bad, actually a number of instances for the past 2 weeks where elephants are breaking homes. People are sleeping, they'll just see or hear the house clambering on them. A week ago, we almost lost 2 lives. This very aggressive elephant, such that even officers are struggling to hunt it. It has already caused serious injuries. As we speak, some of the children are in Lundazi Hospital receiving treatment. I want to find out from the Honorable Minister, what are the short-term measures the government is putting in place to ensure that we do not lose more lives to these elephants? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Chama South. The issue of human-animal conflict, I think it has been visiting this August House several times, on several occasions. The minister has made statements, he has put in measures, but I read also today that there are 3 elephants that are roaming the streets of Southern Province, somewhere, Choma or somewhere. So I think maybe it would be appropriate for the Honorable Minister to come to the House and just give an update. What measures are being taken to ensure that we reduce on this human-animal conflict? and whether those measures which were taken have yielded any result. And if they have not yielded any results, what other measures can be taken so that we protect our people from this human-animal conflict? So the Honorable Minister of Tourism can come back to this August House on Friday morning to render a ministerial statement. Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lubansenshi.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and greetings from the good people of Rubansesh constituency. I will run on the guidance that you have provided earlier. I'll go straight to raise my urgent public importance, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the 9th of May, when we are on a committee tour as a Committee on Agriculture, Land and Natural Resources, we are heading to Southern Province, and along Kafue Road, we are almost shot by an unknown person. And Madam Speaker, it brought a lot of anxiety amongst your members of parliament who were on that tour. What happened was that as we were traveling to Southern Province, we had in the first place no security or someone to give signal that we are in a convoy. And there was this person who was driving a car in front of us. It was the driver who was in front was trying to swerve him so that he can create space for all of us. Then in the process, this person was a bit arrogant. He couldn't give us a way. And in the process, he broke the road, and all your members of parliament were stuck. And in the process of trying to reason with him, he disembarked from his vehicle and said, I can shoot you. And that matter was reported to Kafue checkpoint, where we resolved that matter, although the lives of your members of parliament were at stake. Now, I'm raising this matter and directed to the leader of government business, so that from there you can see how best you can guarantee your members of parliament every time they are doing or performing national duties are safe and their lives are guaranteed. And for your information, Madam Speaker, not only that Committee on Agriculture, Land and Natural Resources, even other committees, we have also received some complaints regarding the safety of your members of parliament, including security wherever we are doing national duties. So it's for this reason I would like to get guidance from your office to see how best our security, our lives can be protected as we are discharging our national duties. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Luvasenshi. Indeed, the security of honorable members of parliament, whether in this house, in the principles of this building, the parliament buildings, or indeed when they are on tours, is of paramount importance. But that is a matter that is handled by the, handled administratively by the office of the clerk of the National Assembly. So please, when there is a concern like that, bring it immediately to the attention of the clerk so that measures can be taken. It's administrative, so they will be able to liaise with the Minister of Home Affairs to ensure that security is provided to all honorable members. We regret that situation, but please, can you address those concerns to the clerk as I've guided, so that we don't have a repeat of such a situation. Thank you very much. The last one will be the Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I'll ride on Standing Order 134, directed to the Leader of Government Business. Madam Speaker, the interim management letter, which has been released
in relation to the audit that has been conducted at Anti-Corruption Commission has been received by the public with a lot of interest, because beyond the 65 million kwacha, Madam Speaker, you are aware that some of the drastic changes that have taken place at Ministry of Finance, some of the findings relating to the happenings of activities of individuals at Anti-Corruption Commission getting double allowances, subsistence allowance, out-of-pocket allowance, is one of the reasons why government made those serious changes at Ministry of Finance. Now, this government has preached that what is wrong, what is right, and there's only one government. I would like to find out through your guidance when the leader of government business will come and brief this House as to what are some of the immediate changes that will take place at the Anti-Corruption Commission, as confidence will be eroded, especially what has happened at Ministry of Finance has left a lot of challenges economically in terms of the performance of the Ministry of Finance. So I would like to get your guidance on that matter, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, the matter is important and it has been raised by the Honorable Member for Lumezi. And as I guided earlier, please put in an urgent question so that the Minister can be given an opportunity to come to this House and tackle that question. It will be the best way to raise that matter, because it does not qualify to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. I admit and agree that it is important, needs to be addressed, but not during this sector for matters of urgent public importance. So please put in a question. It will be dealt with. Thank you. That sees us to the end of matters of urgent public importance. We have spent 1 hour on this sector. We can make progress. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Commerce and Trade and Industry to make a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to deliver this ministerial statement. And I would like to welcome you and other colleagues back to the House. Madam Speaker, thank you for allowing me to deliver a ministerial statement on the 22nd Common Market for East and Southern African COMESA Summit of Heads of State and Government, which will be held at Mulungushi International Conference Center here in Lusaka, starting on the 8th of June 2023. The summit will be preceded by the 16th COMESA Business Forum and the 18th meeting of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs on the 6th and 7th June 2023, respectively. The theme of the summit is Economic Integration for a Thriving COMESA, anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. Madam Speaker, COMESA is a free trade area with 21 member states, formed in December 1994, replacing a preferential trade area PTA, which had existed since 1981. COMESA was created to serve as an organization of free, independent sovereign states that have agreed to cooperate in developing their natural and human resources for the good of all their people. In this regard, the main focus of COMESA has been on the formation of a large economic and trading unit to overcome trade barriers faced by individual states. The member states of COMESA, Madam Speaker, are Burundi, the Comoros, Democratic Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Libya, Madagascar, Malawi, Mauritius, Rwanda, Somalia, Sudan, Swaziland, Seychelles, Tunisia, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Madam Speaker, Article 7 of the COMESA Treaty establishes the organs of the common market with the authority being the highest and consisting of the heads of state or government of the member states. The authority which meets at the summit every year is the supreme policy organ of the common market and is responsible for the general policy and direction control of performance of the executive functions of the common market and the achievement of its aims and objectives, and shall have such powers as are vested in it under the COMESA Treaty. The treaty also establishes other organs including the Council of Ministers, the Court of Justice, the Committee of Governors of central banks, and the Secretariat, which is hosted here in Zambia. Madam Speaker, this is the first time in more than 20 years that Zambia will be hosting the summit, and His Excellency, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of Zambia, will be assuming the role of chairman of the authority, taking over from His Excellency, Mr. Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of Arab Republic of Egypt. The size of the COMESA market is a big opportunity for the Zambian business community. Zambia has an approximately population of 19 million people versus a market of over 580 million people in the region. This is a huge opportunity for growth and expansion of business, for both in terms of commercial presence in the 20 other markets in the region and for exports of our products. The summit is, therefore, a huge opportunity to grow and expand our businesses. Further, His Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema, will be steering the authority in providing policy guidance to reach consensus on a numbering issues affecting the region. Madam Speaker and colleagues, the hosting of the summit and the preceding meetings, government will provide our private sector players an opportunity to establish business linkages through their participation at the business forum and enter into deals that will support trade and investment, and ultimately, sustainably develop and see economic growth. The hosting of the meeting will also help towards capital injection into the economy through hotel, tourism, transport, and communication, as well as food and beverages subsectors. This is very important for our economy as government seeks solutions to sustainably overcome the adverse effects of COVID-19 pandemic and other challenges. I wish to report that so far, 1,450 delegates have registered for the Ministers of Foreign Affairs meeting, 1,000 delegates have registered for the COMESA Business Forum, and in excess of 2,150 delegates have registered for the COMESA Summit of Heads of State and Government meeting. Madam Speaker, I am confident that with the hosting of the summit, President Hakainde Hichilema assuming the role of chairperson of the authority, proceedings at COMESA will be able to move in a manner that promotes regional intra-trade and export of value-added products in line with this year's theme, namely economic integration for a thriving COMESA anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. The theme depicts the member states' aspirations for the regional economy to rebound from the devastating effects of climate change, global geopolitical effects on the trade, and the devastating effects of COVID-19 pandemic. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement given by the Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, the Leader of Opposition.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for that statement. Yes, indeed, Minister, we note that this is a very important summit and that the business community locally would benefit. Of course, looking at the scale of business and trade, is your ministry taking a deliberate policy to prepare certain sectors to be able to trade at that level insofar as quality, packaging, and indeed the scale of trade is concerned. I'm aware that most of our empowerment programs to small businesses are coming from CDF. For the level that we're talking about here, we may be looking at something bigger. Is your ministry taking a deliberate step to prepare businesses to participate at that level? I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honorable Member, the Leader of Government Opposition. Indeed, it's a good question, and indeed, government, not only through Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, but a consortium of ministries, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, and ourselves, we have taken deliberate steps to support small and medium enterprises, especially the ones you have mentioned, Honorable Member, from CDF. Quality, like has been said by government policy of quality, price, and timely delivery is something that we are not compromising. Through the World Bank supported projects like ZATIP and through PACRA sections, we are engaging small and medium enterprises as well as cooperatives on emphasis in packaging and producing right products at the right time. Thank you, Honorable Member. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
I would like to seek clarification from the Minister whether arising from the 8th National Development Plan, if the government has streamlined certain areas and put them in a framework, because you talked about value addition and many other factors, and in the pillars of 8th National Development Plan, because my fear is that maybe we may just be participating in such conferences without getting maximum benefit. As government come up with a framework where they have isolated areas that they need to participate, especially within the commercial area.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Indeed, we are not just participating without getting a gain out of it. Like I said in my statement earlier, Madam Speaker, as I stand here, our hotel spaces are fully booked. And just in hotels itself, there is beyond just bedtime, but there is bar time, laundries, activities, among many other things. And when we talk about SMEs, for some time, Madam Speaker, government has been running programs on TV, radio, in English and other local languages to prepare our position, our curators and SMEs strategically in how they can market their products. And these are things that we have put even on websites with the support of Ministry of Science and Technology, using Smart Zambia to market our products, where we've been even getting orders online even before the delegates come into our country. Madam Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lunte.
Thank you so much, Madam. Honorable Minister, I wish to appreciate your statement. Honorable Minister, what special qualifications is COMESA considering to bring the summit to Zambia and also to make the Zambian president its chairperson, considering that this is happening for the first time in 20 years? Thank you, Madam.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
It's a very good and very important question, Madam Speaker. To be precise, it has taken 27 years before we could host this summit. Madam Speaker, allow me not to be political, but just to be realistic in how I respond to this question. We have always spoken through the head of state where I said, we are back in the League of Nations and in the Champions League. It is with the support from all the parliamentarians and the Zambian people collectively, how we have presented ourselves now, and how we have brought a voice of reason in the region and in the country, and we have been trusted that we can steer the common market for East and Southern Africa on behalf of the member states in the right direction. So now there is confidence and there's ability to have faith that this president is able to do this at the right time, in the right direction. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister of Commerce, the world is about to change, Madam Speaker, because of one decision that has been arrived at by one economic and political bloc called the BRICS. The decision which is to have a common trading currency. Is the COMESA Summit, Honorable Minister, going to consider a possibility of having a common currency to be used by member states within that bloc? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, I cannot respond on behalf of COMESA. I will respond on behalf of my government. Anything on COMESA, like I read in my statement, it has got an organ which responds on its behalf. At the right time, probably when His Excellency, our President, becomes chair, he may be in the right position to give that policy direction. I submit, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kasama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the statement. As you have mentioned, we are back in the Champions League, but you seem to have left out quite a number of your key important players, which is us, the members of parliament. I've looked in my pigeonhole, left, right, and center. I don't know about many others. I do not seem to find an invitation for us members of parliament to go to COMESA, the COMESA event. Are we invited or not? Have you sent out invitations to some of your major key players in the Champions League? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. I think we learned last year when the leader of the opposition made the same query regarding the Democratic Summit and the Midterm African Union Summit. Yes, Madam Speaker, we have sent invitation to members of parliament to a tune of 52, Madam Speaker. And I'm sure this was done in best government parliamentarians, opposition parliamentarians, and also independent parliamentarians. It was sent through, Madam Speaker, to a tune of 52. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Solwezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the good people of Solwezi East, Mushindamo District are asking, after this summit, are we going to see some sub-COMESA markets dotted around the country, like in Mushindamo, where we have a border with the DRC, as opposed to just seeing one in Lusaka where beer and blankets are sold? Are we going to see some of these sub-COMESA markets around our country? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, I thank the honorable member for that question. Madam Speaker, I think we have realized as government on the need to inform the nation widely on what COMESA is, where it is found, and what it does. I must mention, Madam Speaker, that already sub-COMESA markets exist in this country, most particularly in border areas. What we just, I think, need to do as a government and as a ministry is to amplify information to our players, both in parliament and outside there, on where these facilities are found. I submit, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for your statement. Honorable Minister, I just wanted to understand, look at your theme. You are looking at economic integration and growth. And when I look at some of these organs like COMESA and SADC, they look at preferential trade among its member states, preferential trade among its member states, which in essence looks at lower tariffs and also lowers trade, and also has a ripple effect on domestic resource mobilization. How are the member states, are you looking at issues of harmonization of policy? Because if we have lower domestic resource mobilization, it hampers on your GDP and also on your economic growth. So how are you harmonizing that as from your perspective? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, I thank you for giving me this chance to respond to this very important question. And it brings me to this chance to explain more. Madam Speaker, what we need to do more is indeed, like I said in my previous response, to enlighten more of information to our Zambian public on the gains that there are, even for Zambians. We have observed, Madam Speaker, that other countries that come to trade with Zambia, they are trading, enjoying preferential treatment, while Zambians don't have that information and they are missing out. We have taken ownership as a government and will continue to inform the public. And we want to just request the members of parliament, irrespective of affiliation, to also take this opportunity in their respective constituencies to engage the public on their benefits from COMESA, even when they are trading outside the country. And quickly to respond to the question of the Honourable Member of Parliament, indeed, policies must be harmonized. The COMESA preferential treatment that exists in Zimbabwe must exist in Zambia. That exists in Malawi must exist everywhere. And the leadership of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema must make sure that Zambia enjoys the same treatment like any other country is enjoying while they're trading in Zambia. I submit, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. The honorable members, we need to close this. I see honorable members indicating as afterthought I had closed the list up to Kafue. So honorable member for Chifuvu and Pambashe, please, I think we need to make progress. So I will have the honorable member for Feira, Kankoyo, and then last Kafue. Honorable member for Feira.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for that elaborate presentation of the forthcoming summit. Madam Speaker, I just want to find out from the Minister the position of the Executive as regards regional matters and how serious our government takes regional matters, particularly in this case, trading within COMESA as against trading with countries such as, countries like the US and British. Now, I ask this question because I was disappointed when, we had the SADC Organ on Policy, Defense and Security meeting, of which we are also going to take chairmanship in August on a rotational basis. We decided to go and attend, someone who was being crowned in the UK. So I would have loved that we prioritize, regional matters as against, and in this case, what is the position of our government as regarding regional matters as against, those countries outside Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, it is policy. During the inauguration of the President Hakainde Hichilema, he said it loud and clear. We should trade with ourselves and also within the region before we trade with outside the region. We are very committed, Madam Speaker, to doing business with our neighbors and the members of the regional economic communities where we are. And it is from this background, Madam Speaker, where you have seen us, we are going in partnership with the DRC in the electric battery value development, in partnership with Zimbabwe in the farming of cereals like wheat and other facilities. And we continue to do this, Madam Speaker, with our regional members. I submit, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kankoyo.
I thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, indeed, Zambia have seen an influx of hosting of international events. I'm proud to say this country is really back in the Champions League. Also, as in the rugby world, we are hosting the first ever Olympic qualification on the 2nd and the 3rd of July this year for 10 countries which are going to compete from Zambia. This is just to show that, indeed, Bali wakolekashe. Now, my question, Madam Speaker, as we produce, meaning President Hakainde Hichilema is just to be led to continue with his development agenda. In simple English, I thank you. Madam Speaker, now the question coming to COMESA. Usually, whenever there is this opportunity to export anything, very little goes down to the person or that person who is in the production. I can give an example to the exports of mini meal. Whenever the ministry consider issuing export permits, these permits are given to millers, or I can say politicians who are already doing well, but that benefit doesn't go to the person who produces the maize. So I want to ask the Minister of Commerce, are you considering next time Zambia is going to be exporting mini meal to Congo, export permits to be given to cooperatives in Kankoyo, which are under FISIP, so that extra income coming from the export of mini meal goes to benefit the producer of the maize? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the New Dawn government has realized that any government that works without engaging the small and medium enterprises or the smallest, should I say, grassroots entrepreneurs is a lost government and lost economy. It is for this cause that His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema created the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises so that we pay particular attention to them and their needs. I will not comment on the suggestion that milling exports are given to politicians because I have no knowledge of it. But I will confirm that my government is committed to bringing entrepreneurial skills from communities at national level and also to participate at national level. So definitely we are committed in supporting with export permits, trading licenses for small and medium enterprises. And we are doing this in collaboration with the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. I submit, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kafue will be the last.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I also would like to congratulate our government for hosting this very important summit.
Order, Honorable Member for Kafue. There is an indication. Honorable Member for Lunte, what's the point of order?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my point of order is based on Standing Order number 65, which normally speaks to content of speech. Madam Speaker, I asked the Honorable Minister what he referred to as a good question. In his immediate response, he said he was not going to politic. I wondered why he decided not to politic on my question when he's actually not politicking, but giving policy. However, my question was about requirements, special qualifications for Zambia to host the summit, special qualifications for President Hakainde Hichilema to become chairman for the COMESA. On the website for COMESA, it's clearly indicated that usually the country which hosts the summit assumes chairmanship. Is the Honorable Minister in order to start talking about League of Nations, which was replaced by the United Nations many years ago? Is he in order to mislead himself, myself who asked the question, and the general public by suggesting qualifications which are non-existent? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Order, Honorable Members. I thought it was a style of talking. People are saying we're in the League of Nations, League of Champions, and I thought that is how politicians are speaking these days. So just the minister was just expressing himself in a semantical manner. So there was nothing wrong with that. That was the manner he was expressing himself. But in any event, that question should actually not arise. You are trying to ask a follow-up question on the question that you earlier asked. Clever way of by asking a follow-up question. You can only ask one question. The Honorable Member for Kafue may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine was just to find out if issues of common passport are on the agenda during this summit, although I know that this is an agenda that is really being pushed from the African Union perspective, particularly now when issues of the African Continental Free Trade Area are on the agenda. I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish I could respond to that question as Minister of Commerce and responsible for the hosting that with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. But allow me to hold back my response because I will be speaking on behalf of the Secretariat for COMESA. So I may breach some protocols. Allow me to not respond to that unless I am well guided. Madam Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes that sector. Can we move to the next one? Question for oral answer under Standing Order 74. The Honorable Member from Pika by prior arrangement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 257.
The Honorable Minister of Technology and Science.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Chanda asks the following question: whether the government has any plans to construct additional communication towers in the following areas in Kachivia parliamentary constituency. 1. Kambinga Chiefdom, Kabula Mwinko in Chief Purpose Chiefdom, Chewe Shumamba in Chief Luchembes Chiefdom, Chikalalam in Purpose Chiefdom, and Mununshika and other areas in Sinyam Chief Corpus Chiefdom. And in B, if so, when are the plans going to be implemented? Madam Speaker, the response is as follows. The government has plans to construct additional communication towers in Kanchiria constituency. This will be undertaken in a phased approach. The House may wish to note that areas like Kavinga Chiefdom, Kavulwendo in Chief Purpose Chiefdom, Chewe Shimwamba in Chief Luchembe Chiefdom, Chakalalam in Chief Purpose Chiefdom, and Munishika and other areas in Sinyam Corpus Chiefdom, including other unserved areas of the country, have already been identified in the coverage gap analysis. In this regard, the government is deploying action plans to bridge this gap in future projects planned from 2023 and beyond. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Chitambo, or Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, in your response, you referred to the coverage gap, which would cover the areas that are listed in this, under this question. Would you inform the House about when you would expect to cover that coverage gap completely, so that you would have dealt with some of these areas listed here and in other parts of the country? I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Science and Technology.
Madam Speaker, this year we plan to plant 300 towers across Zambia. Even with the 300 towers planted, we'll still have gaps because the requirement is 900 towers. So it will take a bit of time for us to be able to have 100% coverage. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kasenengwa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Through you, Madam Speaker, Honorable Minister, I know that the majority of your members of Parliament in here have been asked to submit some paperwork in where they will need to have network towers put up. And I know that Kanchivia is one of them. So much as honorable members are still waiting when you respond to those application forms, Honorable Minister, the people of Kanchivia would want to know when you are going to start doing the network towers in Kanchivia. What's your time frame? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Technology and Science.
Madam Speaker, a majority of the members of parliament submitted their various requirements in their constituencies. And we're working on the plans as submitted. Before the end of this sitting of parliament, we shall indicate across all constituencies what we'll be able to plant in each and every constituency. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chitambo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, in Chief Kabinga's area, I'm very much aware that there's a tower there which was planted, but it is not on air. Just like we have about 5 towers in Chitambo also which are not on air. And you want to go and construct another one there. Kindly tell the people of Kanchivia, when are you going to put this tower and the other towers on air? Because I recall you said by December you do that. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, let's stick to the constituency. This is a constituency-based question. There's a temptation to ask about what is happening in other constituencies. So that is a clever way of sneaking in a question. Since I allowed the honorable member for Councillor Nengwa, I'll allow the minister also to answer this one.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In some cases, we are planting towers. In other cases, where there is passive equipment, such as in this constituency and Kanchivia, we are going to put only active equipment. And a comprehensive statement outlining what we are going to do, as I've said, will be delivered before the end of this current sitting of Parliament. I thank you.
Thank you. There's an indication for a point of order raised by Honorable Mufalali. What's the point of order, Honorable?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. My point of order is this one to Article 202, privileges of members. It's raised, this point of order is on leader of opposition in the House.
Proceed, Honorable Member. What's the point of order?
The point of order, Madam Speaker, speaks to privileges of members in the House. And I quote, parliamentary privilege refers to certain rights, powers, and immunities enjoyed by the House and its committees collectively and by members individually, and without which the House cannot discharge its functions effectively and efficiently. The House and members shall enjoy the privileges and immunities prescribed under the National Assembly powers and privileges. Madam Speaker, we have noticed with dismay issues that happen outside this House affecting the operations of the House. In this case, Madam Speaker, I refer to members that have differed to some extent outside. And we are seeing them being moved from where they were sitting, going behind. Madam Speaker, I'm able to know that there used to be Honorable Mumba sitting there. It differed to some extent outside. We saw him sitting at the back. We have seen Honorable Miles Sampa being moved from somewhere there, going to sit at the back. The latest one being the one who, Honorable Mungandu was sitting, that where the Honorable is sitting there is now being taken behind. Is the Honorable leader of opposition in order
to continue being intolerant towards his members to the extent of moving them whenever they differ outside there. I seek your serious ruling, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you. Order. Honorable members, the sitting arrangements are a responsibility of the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly, and they are done administratively. So sometimes the individual members are the ones actually who ask that they should be moved. So unless if there is another issue which I've not seen, which can bring us to discuss that issue, but otherwise, the leader of opposition is not out of order. Can we make progress? The honorable member for, may I continue? Who was on the, oh, okay. The honorable member for Mpika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for the response. Honorable Minister, the people of Kanchivia would like to know how many towers they will get in 2023.
The Honorable Minister for Technology and Science.
Madam Speaker, the people of Kanchiwia will get 2 towers this year. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Pambashe. Can we wind up now the question? We have so many other questions so that we make progress. Honorable Member for Pambashe.
Thank you, Madam, for your kind consideration. That's why we missed you during the break. Thank you that we are back. Though I changed my mind because I don't want to ask the Honorable Minister the question. Thank you, Madam.
Okay, since the Honorable Member for Pambashe has yielded his time to another member, I will allow one more member, the Honorable Member for Chilubi, to ask a question, and we'll close. We move to the next.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wanted to find out from the Minister in terms of frequency of the towers that they are planned to install in Kanchivia constituency. I asked so because some of the, especially Kabinga and those areas, also benefit Chilubi. Frequency, I mean that maybe, I don't know how you can put it technically, is it radius or distance that the what will be covering? So that's my question, Madam Speaker.
Although that question does not arise, because the question here talks about how many, whether the government has any plans to construct additional communication towers. It doesn't refer to the frequency that is going to be used. I don't know if the Honorable Minister would have an answer. Anyway, knowing the Honorable Minister, I'm sure he has the answer on his fingertips. The Honorable Minister of Technology and Science.
Madam Speaker, the towers that are going to plant in Kanchiwia will be what we call 4G. And this will be able to carry data and voice so that government can deliver the services to the people of Kanchiwia, including Chulubi Island, without having to move. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we make some progress? The next question, the Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 258.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Education.
Madam Speaker, question 258. The Honorable Member of Parliament for Kalabo Central asked the Minister of Education the following questions. What the total number of early childhood education centers in Kalabo district was as of February 2022. B, what the total number of teachers at the centers was as of the same date. Whether the number at B was adequate. D, if not, whether the government has any plans to deploy additional teachers, and E, if so, when the plans will be implemented. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that A, there were 63 early childhood education centers involving 5 community and 58 primary schools in Kalabo districts as of February 2022. B, there were 50 teachers at the centers comprising 11 qualified early childhood teachers, 48 volunteer teachers, and 11 primary school teachers seconded to teach early childhood education classes as of the same date. C, the number of teachers at these centers was not adequate. D, the government planned to deploy 12 early childhood, 154 primary school, and 195 secondary school additional teachers to the center in the district. And E, the plans to deploy additional teachers was being implemented in Q2 of 2022 during the NAT teacher recruitment of 30,000. You may be aware or wish to know that the government has now recruited and deployed 12 early childhood, 153 primary school, and 195 secondary school additional teachers to the centers in the district. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central, do you have any? Oh, it looks the Honorable Member is satisfied. We make progress. The next question, the Honorable Member for Chama North.
Question number 259.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question from the Member of Parliament for Chama North. Ask the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. The questions: A, whether the government has any plans to construct a road to connect Nkaka and Luangwa wards in Chama North parliamentary constituency, and if so, when the plans will be implemented. Madam Speaker, responses. In response to the questions raised by the Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Mutachalo, I wish to inform this august House as follows. Due to budgetary constraints, 2 contracts that were providing connectivity in Nkaka and Luangwa wards in Chama North parliamentary constituency have since been terminated. Therefore, A, the central government currently has no immediate plans to construct the road to connect Nkaka and Luangwa wards, as we are managing the debt burden under the road sector. Therefore, local authorities are encouraged in the short and medium term to work on the feeder roads within their local generated funds, and the constituencies are also encouraged to take advantage of the increased CDF and work on the feeder roads in the rural districts. B, as alluded to in A, there are no current immediate plans. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Petauke Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Petauke to ask a follow-up question to the Acting Minister of Local Government. The Acting Minister of Local Government, the people of Chama, they want to know how much is per kilometer to construct a gravel road, since you are saying they need to take advantage of CDF. Now, looking at that road, when you put kilometers, according to the layman's point of view from the good people of Petauke, is that a kilometer gravel road cost about 1.2 million. And the only money for project in Chama, it's 10 million it's 10 million for project. Now, and that road, it's more than 10 kilometers. So you are saying that they should use CDF. Now, how much is your ministry put as a benchmark for that, for a kilometer road? Thank you. I seek your answer, Minister of Acting.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Rural Development, Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think in my response, I said, take advantage with your local resources and encouraging the Honorable Member of Parliament to access from the increased CDF. In other words, we've seen a number of Member of Parliament procuring equipment to, construct the feeder roads. So I'm encouraging you, Member of Parliament, get a grader so that you can do your feeder roads. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Minister, for that response. No, it's good that the Minister is my neighbor. Shwangandu is a neighbor to Chama North there. Yeah, we do appreciate the increase in CDF, but as a ministry, I think, are you differentiating, because the urban areas and rural constituencies have unique needs. Every time referring to CDF, in rural areas there are so many competing needs. So do you have any plans, for example, to assist us on crossing points, and then we can do the other works using our local generated resources? Thank you.
Sorry, before the Honorable Acting Minister comes on, the Honorable Member for Pambashe wants to raise a point of order. What's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was checking the list for members of parliament and which constituents they represent. According to the information on the parliamentary website, the member of parliament for Shwangan is the Honorable Stephen Kampion. And then the member for Chama North refers to the minister in charge of, who is now the acting local government minister, who is the nominated member of parliament as a member for Shwangan. I seek your serious guidance, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I was also surprised when I heard that the neighbor to Chama North was Honorable Member for Chama North. Please, when you are giving information, order. When you are giving information on the floor of the House, let's be factual. Let's not mislead the people, because people are listening to whatever is going on here. So now they are wondering whether there has been a by-election in Shwangandu or not. The Honorable Member for Shwangandu remains Honorable Kampiong. That is the position. May the Honorable Acting Minister continue.
Madam Speaker, in my response, I said the ministry has no funds, and I've encouraged the member of parliament to use the local resources. That's why we had to cancel that contract, because we've got no money and government, is fighting with the date which we found. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Chama North, do you have another question so that we make progress?
No, another question. I mean, the government has got no money, so I don't have another question.
Thank you very much. Since the government has no money at the moment, we can make progress. Go to the next question. The Honorable Member the next question, the Honorable Member for Nchelenge by prior arrangement. Honorable Member for Nchelenge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 260.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, question number 104. Mr. Elias Msonda is asking the Minister of Health.
It's question number 260. 260.
Okay. Question number 260. MP for Chimbamilonga, Mr. Elias Msonda is asking the Minister of Health whether the government has any plans to upgrade the Nsama Rural Health Center in Sama district to a mini hospital. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. C, whether the upgrade will include construction of a mortuary. D, what the estimated cost of the project is. And E, what the estimated time frame for the completion of the project is. Our response to this question, Madam Speaker, is as follows. Madam Speaker, government has no plans to upgrade Nsama Rural Health Center to what is being referred to as a mini hospital. B, Madam Speaker, as stated in part A of the question, government has no plans to upgrade Nsama Rural Health Center to a mini hospital. Therefore, part B through to E of the question falls off. However, upgrading of Nsama Rural Health Center has been included on the plan under CDF to construct a maternity annex, a mini theater, and improvement of water reticulation. Additionally, Madam Speaker, the government under Lake Tanganyika Development Project is currently constructing a level 1 hospital in Sama at Nsumbu. This hospital will have the OPD with X-ray and laboratory, maternity ward, pediatric wing, male and female wards, and a mortuary. This project is expected to be completed this year in July. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? The Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, recently constituencies were directed by government to procure ambulances for the areas. In your response, I heard you refer to CDF constructing some units, including the maternity ward. Is that instruction coming directly from your ministry, or is it something that the WDCs of Nsama came up with? The use of CDF in that area. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I'm hoping that I heard the question correctly, and I'll be guided if the answer is not according to the question. There is an instruction by this government wherein the President has directed the Minister of Health to ensure that all health centers in Zambia, be it rural or urban health center, we must build a maternity wing. And this has been communicated through a circular under the Ministry of Health, instructing all the relevant government authorities, that is the Department of Health at the district and the province, and also the local authorities. In that regard, Madam Speaker, because health, education, and empowerment are part of the key policy sectors for this administration, the Minister of Local Government has guided all local authorities and members of parliament, I presume, that in our decisions we must prioritize health and education. Regarding health, it has to do with water supply, ensuring that all our clinics, all our health centers must have water, running water. Secondly, on the issue of sanitation, that all our health facilities must have good sanitation. Then the third one is electrification. So, what does this mean? What this means is basically that is this government's new policy. And to that effect, you see that various constituencies under the CDF funds are now prioritizing either construction, expansion of health facilities within their constituencies. And of course, anything related to better provision of health service delivery is now being implemented and decided by various ward development committees. Suffice to say, Madam Speaker, that it is important for members to appreciate this policy guidance, which arises from the fact that Zambia remains high on the list of countries losing mothers and children at birth. And so in trying to fight these high mortality rates regarding mother and child, these are some of the immediate action points that we are taking. I must mention here, Madam Speaker, that the question of whether this administration is going to upgrade a health center, be it rural or urban, to a mini hospital, the answer shall always be no. Not because no, we are saying we are refusing, but because the policy in the grading of health facilities in this country has been redefined. And if you recall, members of parliament, I did say to you that in this administration, we will not talk about mini hospitals. What you call mini hospitals for this administration simply means a rural health center or an urban health center. It is not a hospital. But these rural health centers and urban centers, health centers, shall be improved upon, taking into account issues of mother and child. So even if we improve or expand a rural health center, it will not be called a mini hospital. It remains a health center. So from the health center, what you must be asking us is, are you going to upgrade our health center to level 1 hospital, which is now what you may call a district hospital, which now has other things. The mere fact that you improve a service at that level doesn't make it into a mini hospital. We think that this is confusing, and we want to remain within the international norms so that we don't sound strange. Thank you.
Thank you. Although the leader of opposition was wondering whether this is the directive to upgrade the hospital, the decision is made by, is it a directive or a decision made by the ward development committees? I think that was the question. So,
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to believe that any decision of CDF must be or should be a decision of the Ward Development Committee, except that in terms of policy guidelines, the CDF are being directed by the Minister of Local Government. For example, the issue that health will be a priority, education will be a priority, transport for monitoring was a priority. So those will form the principles, but the everyday decision of what it is in the health sector, what it is, that will remain a decision of the Council and the Ward Development Committee. Thank you.
thank you. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister where the SAGE, a rural health center, is. It's about 68 kilometers from Mpolokoso, 42 plus 35 kilometers from Nsumbu, and meaning that it's highly isolated from the hospital which is under the Tanganyika project. When you look at Nsama district, which was declared a district, which was given a district status, the concentration of the population, which is confirmed by census 2022, is around Nsumbu and where that particular health center is. Now it's worrying that on the average, the hospital that she's referring to is supposed to have about 13 departments. If in summer is deprived and is only going to be given, theater and what else did she mention, and which means that it's not going to have these other departments of the hospital. And the population has accrued around that area. I don't know how the dead and many other factors will be dealt with, given the distance to Mpolokoso and where that hospital for Tanganyika project is. I submit, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I want to appreciate the concerns raised by the previous speaker, where he's talking about location challenges. And he may be right. I'm not sure myself. I cannot, from this discourse just immediately say he's right or wrong. Because what I've noticed is that previously, I don't know how these decisions were being made by our colleagues in the previous administration. We have noted that where there's a construction of, for example, a district hospital, when you get on the ground, you find the community saying, we don't know why they want to build a hospital. There's no people here, there are very few. The population is there. And that's a fact, because normally when you make those decisions, the issue of population must always come into play. So I really cannot off cuff now say you are right or you are wrong, except to say this was a decision, I think, that was made by the community themselves or the government of that day. And if the community today think otherwise, I think you have the right to make submission to your district director of health and your provincial health director, and then it will come to us. And if it is before we start, as long as the community themselves make those decisions, there can be consideration. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Lunte.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I follow the Honorable Minister of Health as she takes responses. And she says she believes the decision was made by the WDC. Madam Speaker, the WDC.
Order. As the time is 16:40, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
Thank you so much for still being with us on Parliament Television. Business has been suspended for 20 minutes for that health break, and at the time business was suspended, the House was considering question 260, which was asked by Mr. Elias Musonda Chimbamilonga, Member of Parliament, and this question was directed to the Minister of Health. We wanted to find out whether the government has any plans to upgrade the Nsama Rural Health Center in Nsama District to a mini hospital. At the time business was interrupted, it was Lunte Member of Parliament, Mr. Muteko Kafwaya, who was on the floor of the House asking a follow-up question seeking clarity from the Minister of Health. Matimba, let's quickly look at what has been considered on the floor of the House when business resumed at 14:30 earlier in the day.
So there was an announcement by Madam Speaker. She informed the House that she had received communication to the effect that in the absence of Her Honor, the Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning, Honorable Stumbeko Msokotwane MP, has been appointed acting leader of government biz in the House until further notice.
And earlier on, Madam Speaker did make a ruling, and the ruling that Madam Speaker made was on a point of order which was raised on Thursday, 16th March 2023 by Mr. R.K. Chitotela, Member of Parliament for Pambashe, a constituency against Honorable R.M. Piri, Minister of Agriculture, for contravening Standing Order 165 by stating that the government would implement the FISI program in the 2023-2024 farming season, contrary to the position given by the Minister of Finance and National Planning in the 2023 budget address that the government would move from FISI to PASIP. And detail of that ruling will be given a little later when the House adjourns, and we'll be recapping of what will have been considered on the floor of the House.
Thereafter, Madam Speaker permitted the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mlenga, to render a ministerial statement. So this was a statement on the Zambia's hosting of the 22nd Summit of the Heads of State and Government to be held on 8th June 2023.
So far, a total number of 3 questions, and the 4th one is currently under consideration on the floor of the House. Earlier on, we did see Kanchivia Member of Parliament, Mr. Sunday Chanda, posing a question asking the Minister of Technology and Science. We also saw Kalabo Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Chenga Miyutu, posing a question to the Minister of Education, where he wanted to find out the total number of early childhood education centers in Kalabo District was as of February 2022.
And so for these and the others, we'll be giving details at the end. For now, we go on a break. Remember, business of the House will resume at 17 hours. Keep watching Parliament Television. Good afternoon.
The World Health Organization, WHO, conceptualizes mental health as a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. In recognition of Mental Health Awareness Month, which was commemorated in May under the theme Anxiety, the National Assembly of Zambia, in partnership with Chainama College of Health Sciences and Standard Chartered Bank, organized a staff mental health workshop, which was held on 31st May 2023, in which the goal was to equip staff by raising awareness on occupational mental health in a working environment. Speaking at the occasion, Acting Deputy Clerk, Corporate Affairs, Mr. Stephen Kawimbe, said mental health affects many people globally.
Mental health problems afflict millions of people globally. People young and old from all economic and educational levels, diverse ethnic groups, religious backgrounds, are all dealing with distressing symptoms of mental health. Recently, mental health problems have experienced an upward spiral due to the effects of COVID-19. We are all very fresh with memories of the pandemic it really broke down the social fiber. We were all confined to our homes, and even at work we were confined to our offices. So this has seen a spiral in the incidence of mental health problems. Safe and healthy working environments are not only a fundamental right, but are also key to minimizing tension and conflicts at work, thereby improving staff retention, staff performance, and productivity. For this reason, I dare say, work and mental health are closely intertwined. However, it is disheartening to note that mental health is one area that is not well appreciated, especially in places of work. As a result, we continue to see work environments that are characterized by pervasive, harmful behaviors like bullying, abuse, and sexual harassment, amongst others, which cause significant mental distress among staff. Instead of seeking help, some staff in such situations have opted to remain silent due to the stigma and discrimination associated with mental illness. If a man is sexually abused, is he likely to report that abuse in the context of our culture? Probably not, because they will be laughed at. In recognition of the importance of mental health, the National Assembly of Zambia is playing a critical role in addressing mental health issues in our country. For example, the National Assembly enacted the Mental Health Act No. 6 of 2019, which among other things seeks to promote and protect the rights of persons with mental illness, mental disorder, mental impairment, or mental disability. Further, at the institutional level, the National Assembly of Zambia, through its 2022 to 2026 strategic plan, has set out strategies for enhancing and strengthening institutional operational systems in order to improve timeliness, efficiency, and effectiveness. One of the strategies under this objective is to improve staff wellness and support programs, which include conducting health awareness programs like we are doing today.
And speaking at the same event, Mr. Edward Iluba, General Manager, Standard Chartered Bank, said mental health has a major impact on financial management.
Not a single conversation we can have around anxiety and not recognize the impact that finances or the lack thereof has on each and every one of us. It is for that reason that Standard Chartered Bank is extending a hand to say, let us partner with the National Assembly of Zambia and demonstrate that within the confines of us being able to provide financial access to you as staff, we are also having to demonstrate that we are taking a keen interest not to be part of the anxiety that you'll be having.
During the event, Chainama Hills College of Health Sciences made presentations in which Senior Registrar Dr. Brian